Black Friday is only days away, and it's always exciting to get a deal that you wouldn't normally get. But with our sponsor, Raycon, you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But for Black Friday, Raycon is doubling down on their already amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% off everything site-wide. Raycon earbuds offer 32 hours of battery life, active noise cancellation, and you can get 90 minutes of battery charge with just 10 minutes of charging. Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, but starts at just half the price. Now is the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. I absolutely love mine. I keep one pair here where I do my interviews and my live streaming. I keep a separate pair in my gym bag for exercise. It's time to save big on Black Friday. Go to buyraycon.com/SPTV to get up to 30% off everything site-wide. That's right. Get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go today to buyraycon.com/SPTV. And here we are. Hello, everyone. I just realized, let me make sure I've got the right audio selected. Hello, everybody. It's been a couple days. We have been gone in Miami for a couple of days, headed down there to record a super awesome podcast. By the way, since we're getting close to the holiday season, and since I have so much of this other product stacked up, Ridge product, I'm going to do another giveaway at the end of this video. Hopefully I don't forget, but so hang in there till the end and you can win hundreds of dollars of Ridge product in a giveaway. You know, since I haven't done anything for a couple days and since we just got back into town, this was just an excuse to do a little hangout, a little Q&A, a little chat, little Monday night smackdown. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Would you like to join me? Sure. Oh my goodness. Here, I got a seat right here for you. Wow, imagine that. Imagine that. All right, let's get cozy. I'll make room for you here. And let's see. We're going to put this to the test. Put this little, see how dexterous or whatever the word is. Hey, say, hey. Well, I kind of don't want to say what the podcast was so that we don't, I guess, scoop the surprise for whenever they publish. But if anybody wants to guess, maybe we'll do it this way. If anybody wants to guess what the podcast was, this is someone I've been watching for years and years and years. Actually, I'll tell the funny story. I'll tell the funny anecdote that only I think is funny.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, it's the one I told in front of, I was about to say his name. That I was like, let me tell you a funny anecdote. And he's like, that's not funny at all. Okay, here's the anecdote. You guys can make up your mind. Okay, so, you know, the other week, me and Jenna and the girls were driving down to Miami to meet up with everyone that was going on the SPTV cruise. And and we got, you know, we got rear-ended pretty seriously on the freeway on the way down there. And what was that, 6 weeks ago? Anyway, the car is still in Miami getting fixed. It's not ready yet. But it was supposed to be ready this week. Actually, it was supposed to be ready November 22nd. And I had gotten an email invitation to come down to Miami. They said, we'll pay you for travel. We'll pay you a stipend. Come down to Miami for this podcast. And it was like literally days after the car was supposed to be ready. And I was like, oh, this is so perfect. I've got to say yes. I don't even. And I looked up the podcast, and the name of the podcast is not the name of the creator. And I'd never heard of the podcast, even though the creator is someone I've been watching for a ton of years. But I just looked at the podcast. I saw I had decent subscribers, and I just said yes. I was like, obviously, it's a yes. I don't even really care who it is at this point. And then I found out the car was not going to be ready. Like 3 days ago, I found out the car was not going to be ready. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to cancel the podcast. We'll reschedule it. And in the process of figuring out exactly who I should contact in order to cancel, I found out whose podcast it was. And I was like, how did I not know this? I was like, okay, I guess we're not canceling. And then I was like, even better, would you like Jenna Miscavige to come along? I was like, 2 for 1. And then they were like, what? Oh, it does it. Did you just accidentally do a thumbs down thing?
I don't think so.
Oh, did you go to fix your hair and it gave like a thumbs down?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys guess in the live chat who you think the podcast was, I will at least tell you at the end of the video if anybody got it right.
There you go.
And so, and they were like, because the last time that I offered that I suggested that to someone, I was hoping they were going to let us do it together. But then they're like, oh, we'll do it separately. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's right.
like Julian Dory.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh man. And then we ended up staying there 2 days instead of 1 day.
That's right.
And
yeah.
I don't like plans changing. I go ballistic. Okay, so luckily they were like, so you mean you guys want to actually like do it together? Because that would be like really cool. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. And anyway, it was so much fun.
It was fun.
It takes a lot of the pressure. It actually relieves a lot of the pressure.
For me too.
You know, because for me, I'm just like, okay, at what point in this interview am I going to cry like a little baby because they asked me about my brother? And luckily, we didn't even get into that because there was so much other stuff to talk about that we didn't even get into those deep of weeds.
Right.
Which honestly made the chat much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
For me, I don't really like crying like a baby every time I go on someone's podcast. It's not fun.
It just happens every time. But
not this time, though. Not this time, you guys. Not this time. And yeah, Joe Rogan's in Texas, guys. So it's not Joe Rogan. I'm just looking at the feed, and I don't even know if some of these guys are in Miami. But oh, here's a question, and the answer is yes. I'm bringing it up because the answer is yes. I don't know if you knew that Scientology is pumping out a ton of videos on their channel of people talking about how great David Miscavige is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How about videos from? Well, here's the question, you guys. Free food. Aaron, are you going to do a video on all the new videos of Captain Davy of the Giant Space Navy posted by Scientology? Yes, I'm going to be doing live reaction videos to those videos. Here's an example of ones that are hilarious. It's the members of the Jive Aces pretending that they're just a normal band. They're pretending like they're public Scientologists.
Yeah, yeah.
Where David Miscavige, he came to one of our performances and he knew who we were and he knew my name. I'm like, you've been Sea Org members for 30 years.
Yes. Totally.
You're int base CMO staff.
Yeah.
Of course he knows your name.
Yeah.
You're also the only band in Scientology.
Yes.
It's your job.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, he knew my name and he bought me a ukulele.
Oh my God. Did I tell you that the Jive Aces performed at a club in San Diego like a few months back?
They performed at a club in San Diego?
Yeah, like a promo went out for it. And
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like in downtown San Diego. I didn't go, but
did you consider going?
I did consider, but I didn't go.
They would recognize you, right? Like, do you know the person? You know them, right?
I mean, I met them when I was a little kid.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
No, they probably wouldn't recognize me.
Wow. Let me see. Okay, so what is one thing that you mentioned in the podcast that he didn't follow up on is that, and I can't remember if you and I have spoken about this or whatever, is you said, I think he asked the question whether we were worried about being really like pigeonholed as just the former, the ex-Scientology people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of answering that question, you pointed out that when you wrote your book and you did all the media, like that was a lot of years ago. And then for like 10 or 12 years, you weren't really part of the anti-Scientology community.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised he didn't like immediately ask you what you were talking about. Mm. But what was that about? What did happen there? Like, why was that?
I mean, I think it was a bunch of things. Like it was, I mean, I think a lot of it was raising my kids, to be honest. Like, I think that, like maybe if talking about Scientology every day or doing even a bunch of interviews and shows, which I had to do for my book, it kind of, if that would be like something that would rile me up or something that would take up my time, I guess it was a big thing for me to not want to spend time away from my kids mentally and physically, because I had a lot of opportunities after my book, but to spend time away from them because of Scientology, it kind of felt like repeating something that my parents had done, even if it was for the opposite sort of cause. It was still for Scientology. And so, yeah, and there was many other things going on. I mean, there was like internal family drama with, my ex-husband's parents. They were they they wanted us to be on good terms with Scientology because they were being pressured to disconnect from us if we didn't fall in line with Scientology. And there was just a lot of stuff going on. So,
right.
yeah.
And what was, the question is going to sound weird, but I'll explain it if it sounds too weird. Like, what was the former Scientology community then? Or I want like, where did the former Scientology community take place back then? Because right now I just think of it mostly as taking place on YouTube.
Yeah,
but like,
that's
so like,
a good question.
even if you were a part of the community, where would that have been happening?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually remember too at that time, it was like there was a big indie movement, Scientology indie movement going on. And I was like, oh God, like
in some ways, the indie movement was bigger than just the former Scientology movement because the biggest former Scientologists were indies.
Yeah. And I think that was also,
that's totally different now.
I know. Yeah. But that's part of I think like there's a bunch of things that were happening because Marty was a part of that, right?
Marty and Mike and Dan Kuhn and Steve Hall and
yeah. So at the time I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you fucking serious right now? These people leave Scientology and now there's an indie Scientology movement. I was like, they're all insane.
You weren't all about that life?
Oh no,
I know you
definitely not. No, I remember that now. Me and Dallas were like, oh my God, are you fucking serious right now? But there was like a community on ex-Scientology kids, and I guess there was like the Clambake community a little bit.
Was there?
Yeah, and there was like anonymous, but it was like, I guess it would like, there would be like a lot of arguing or back and forth. And then I think that there was also a lot of people who were having a hard time that would reach out to me as well. And I would want to communicate with them, but also it was hard to like be a parent and to keep my own self above water, having gone through the life that I had, and to also like, I take on other people's emotions really easily, and it like really affects me. If someone's telling me like something horrible that happened to them, I feel guilty like not making it better for them. And so I think that just there were just so many things going on at the time that and also part of it is also learning about who I am and learning to do the things that I wanted to do and trying to build a life that I want and not waste. Well, now it sounds like I'm like talking badly about what we're doing now, but no, not waste more years of my life on Scientology. But interestingly, in the podcast that we were on, the guy who we were speaking to, he said that he grew up in a Christian family and then he sort of rebelled and was sort of started doing everything that was the opposite of what his parents had done. And he realized that even though he thought he was like getting out from under their control, sort of, he realized by always trying to do the opposite of what they're doing, that was also controlling him. And so I think that like me sort of coming back to it is my moment of realizing like also avoiding it like the plague is also being controlled by it. So there's like just a sort of happy medium where it's like I can have the life that I want and I can talk about Scientology, and it's just a little more healthy and balanced. Yeah. I really talked for a long time. I'm sorry.
You mean just now?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's funny to think about what that would have looked like for you back at that time if you had been a part of all of that. It's true. I think and by the way, when we say indies, guys, the independent Scientologists is, people who leave Scientology but still believe in the tech and still do auditing and do the OT levels and I guess even try to train auditors.
Yeah, they audit each other. And so like, when I left, I was out of Scientology. And then there was a lot of people who I knew who were like in this indie Scientology movement. And I was like, are you crazy? Like,
is it an exaggeration to say that it was most of them?
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah, there was a really big community.
I mean, especially since Marty was so big and public and honestly considered was the leader of the former Scientology movement at that time.
Yeah.
And he was a total pro LRH independent Scientologist, as was Mike and Christy and and all those folks. See, during that whole time, I was under the radar, so I didn't have to be a part of it or not be a part of it. I was still like in Scientology,
Yeah.
secretly, sending Mike,
I see.
Marty all the info.
Yeah. No, I was like totally out. I had already like been disconnected from everybody, and I was also like much less. I don't want to say I was unbrainwashed, but by that time I was like, I'm gonna be in a movement where Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder are the head of it. Absolutely not. Much less one that believes in Scientology still and does auditing. No, thank you.
And like, who else was there anyone even within 20 years of was Marika part of? Well, my mom was definitely a part of that. Yeah. But was Marika ever a part of that? I'm trying to think of anyone. I'm trying to think of anyone our age-ish. I mean, Christy, obviously.
Yeah. And I mean, I probably knew Mike and Marty more than anybody. And
I know, but they're not your age. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was my age.
I'm just saying, even the people that were around at that time. Was Astra ever part of the indie? No. And who was the other? Remind me, who else was part of the ex-Scientology kid stuff?
Kendra.
And she wasn't.
Don't ask me her last name.
Wilkinson.
Again. No, Wiseman.
Is Kendra Wilkinson one of the Playboy bunnies?
Yeah.
On the Girls from that TV show.
Yeah, I totally watched that. She's from San Diego. Her brother worked at my Blockbuster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we would go there, and I was like starstruck by him. Even though he worked at Blockbuster.
Wow. Let's see. Marissa Martin says, I don't see how you can break the brainwashing but still believe auditing is necessary. Xeno is real and psychologists are our alien overlords. Yeah, I mean, I think somebody would probably argue that you hadn't broken the brainwashing. You just thought David Miscavige was mean and altering the tech.
Yeah, not me, but them.
Mean. Oh, no. If someone leaves and is an indie, then they haven't broken the brainwashing.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, an independent Scientologist would disagree with that.
Right.
But
yeah, wasn't Natalie part of that briefly?
Well, yeah, but I think more because of her husband, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing Natalie early on the scene. And then when she came back, I was like, is she an independent Scientologist? I've told her this.
Yeah, no, I think it was mostly Brad Hagemo.
I see.
And I'm trying to remember, was Chrissy and Jeff part of that?
Oh, maybe. Or
I don't want to say that they were if they weren't.
And her husband. I don't know if they were.
Either. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I meant
right. Jeff's her brother.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think Jeff wasn't a part of that.
I don't
know. Jeff wasn't. But was that's right, Chrissy's her brother. What am I talking about? I forget Chrissy's husband's name.
Shane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, John Shamwowski. Hello, John Shostovsky. Jenna, sorry, fudge. It wasn't from Uranus. Hope it's okay.
Oh my God, it was so good. Thank you so much, John. It was such a nice surprise. My kids loved it.
He didn't send you that anus fudge?
No. Oh. He's classy.
I got that. I got the anus fudge last year. It was delicious. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Dave's Deep Dives. Good to see you. By the way, Dave is the one who sent me all the stuff from the Netherlands.
Oh, thank you. I ate some of that.
Yeah, we ate a lot of it.
Just now.
Aaron, have you heard about the Ridley Academy piano course scam and its potential Scientology link recruitment practices? Dave, absolutely. It's been on my list. It's been near the top of my list every day of a subject to do a video about, even if it's just a reaction video to some of the other videos that have been put out, which are spectacular. But yeah, he's definitely on the list for sure. And SPTV fan, I would love it if it were Mike Rowe, but I believe he lives in San Francisco. Not that he couldn't do it traveling. It wasn't Mike Rowe. But that actually would fit the description that I gave. I've been watching him for years as well. Do you know who that is? It's the Dirty
But what
Jobs
wasn't
guy.
Mike Rowe?
The podcast that we went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other things about this weekend? Oh, we got to stay with Abraham.
Yes.
Abraham of the Sins of Scientology podcast.
Yes, he has a gorgeous apartment.
Yeah.
So comfortable. He's so sweet. Got to go out to dinner with him.
And Miami is gorgeous.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to see it last time we went.
Yeah, right. And at night it was so pretty, all lit up. It was gorgeous. And Abraham makes the most gorgeous cards too. He's so talented.
Yeah, I didn't see the cards, but what kind? You only like
he like
holiday
cuts,
cards?
Yeah, like all different holidays,
Mm.
like Easter, Halloween, and he like cuts out the tiny little pieces and dyes them and does like embossing and stuff. It's amazing.
That's awesome. The boobologist. What happened with the case about the PI that crashed into you? Okay, yeah. So, the more information came out, the more I was very seriously considering hiring a lawyer. But I hesitated, and to be honest, I didn't actually look into it or consult any lawyers because the people that I did ask about this seem to think that without like personal injury damages, there's just not a lot of reasons to get the lawyer involved. But where I really started getting the lawyer involved is when it became clear that the PI, it was already documented. He gave a documentedly false story to the police officer.
Yeah.
He also gave the police officer false insurance information. He also, he lied to the police officer about several things.
Yeah, and he was trying to trick us.
Yeah.
When we were like, he was trying to tell us what happened, which was a completely different version of reality. It was like bizarre.
Yes. And he didn't even purchase any extra insurance through the insurance company, and then didn't provide accurate insurance personal information to the police officer. So when it seemed like yet another uninsured driver had crashed into my freaking car, that's when I was considering contacting a lawyer, especially since this guy's a professional PI. I will 100% be following up with the state licensing agency that handles private investigator licenses. But then my insurance company succeeded in actually finding out what his insurance is. He wasn't uninsured after all. So once and that's the other thing. He also never reported the incident to his own insurance, but he did hire a lawyer and try to file a claim against my insurance, which I mean, it's batshit crazy. And, but once all the insurance stuff got sorted out, I figured, might I drop into his office live on YouTube? Yes, I might. Is there any way in hell we're ever going to be able to prove that this PI has any ties to Scientology? Probably not. But I'm sort of willing to try to scare him a little bit by dropping into the office and just see what falls out. I don't know. But again, I also go, okay, is that a fight I really want to pick? Like, it's going to feel really good, but are there a lot of unintended consequences that might bring about that just were totally unnecessary? I don't know. I've given it a second thought and a third thought, and I haven't made a final decision. Maybe I'll make a decision if I get the car back and it doesn't feel as good as new. Then I'll be like, oh, he's getting a house call. He's getting a new client visit.
This was the first time I noticed your pinkies.
Oh, my crooked pinkies?
Yeah, you always talk about them, but I never see what you're talking about. I feel
they're not
I think
always
you're making
crooked.
It up.
They're not
but when
always
you put your
crooked.
hands straight is when I notice it. Oh,
sometimes they. Yeah. Yep. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Was there anything else about the PI stuff? No, but the fact that a PI hit us, the fact that he was driving a rental car, the fact that he lied about everything, and the fact that he hired a lawyer is like, I don't know, guys. I know there's a world in which he's not tied to Scientology. Like all of these things are circumstantial. It's not definitive anything, but it's like, man, it's a lot of weirdness for not being tied to Scientology.
Yeah, it's a lot of weirdness, especially for something that was so clear cut. Like he hit us completely. Yeah.
Okay, just a Northern Girl. Any idea when said podcast will be coming out? It really seemed like it could be any time between one week and 3 weeks. He was kind of non-committal about it, right?
Yeah, he didn't really
he didn't like laugh when I said a week. He was like, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Granny G, did I hear you right? Are you coming to Minnesota? Feral Cheryl is going to be in Minnesota.
That's right. With Natalie.
And if it's already in the live chat, then that means we're not giving anything away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Natalie said it's going to be, I wouldn't want to scare Cheryl by telling how cold it's going to be.
That's right.
Pack warm, Cheryl.
She said She said she wasn't going to tell Cheryl.
Pack warm. It's not like she doesn't have access to the internet and can't check the weather report, but
That's true. Oh, did you get to see Zach the dog?
Where does it say that?
Up. You scrolled too fast.
Oh, here it is.
No.
Did you get to see Zach the dog, or as I like to call him, Carl? To me, he'll always be Carl. We didn't. Zach's Abraham only takes Zach when Zach's owner is out of town or whatever.
Yeah. But Abraham has a cute little doggy.
Rocco. What's his name?
Rocco.
It's a Chihuahua.
Yeah. He's a sweetie pie. So we got to see him.
Yeah. I'm seeing questions about the indie movement. I feel like there's so much more fun stuff. You know what's amazing about the indie movement? It seems to have completely disappeared practically.
Yeah.
It used to be the dominating force in the former Scientology world.
Yeah.
And now it's just a few people secretly auditing people.
Yeah. Does it even still exist at all?
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, as long as there's a person out there willing to audit a person, it exists.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it exists.
Yeah.
So I wonder what dried up first: people willing to audit or people willing to pay for auditing?
Oh, so they were charging in the indie movement?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't a co-audit situation.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
I did not.
Yes. Real money.
That is another level. When that was happening, it was like the same, because like feeling that I had when me and my ex-husband left Scientology, but he was still like, he still wanted to pay our freeloader debt. And I was like, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I was like, we escaped. I got you out. I was like, fucking deal with your parents. I was like, and then at work, they were like trying to do auditing on me. And then it was like, we're going to pay money to Scientology. And then there was the indie movement. And I can't believe that they were freaking paying.
Like expensive.
Oh my God. Wow. That's
yeah.
insane.
And people willing to pay, you know?
I had no idea.
So which one do you think dried up? People willing to audit or people willing to pay?
I mean, for sure, people willing to pay.
Yeah, that's right.
Those.
That's right.
People paid me, I would audit them. If they wanted it.
I wouldn't.
Not like children. I want to do a demonstration of a interrogation, but nobody will do it with me.
We did one the other.
No, that was assessing lists. I want to do like a full interrogation. I thought
we did in the beginning.
No, that was just like pulling a withhold. I want to do the whole thing to show people how it is, but
we can try to do it. We can try to do it.
You're only saying that because we're on camera.
I'll be the one on the can, so it'll be funny.
Okay.
If you be the one on the meter, I'll be the one on the can.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Cassie says, I was just watching Jenna's newest video.
Oh, thank you.
Which one's your newest?
It's about like what kind of mom I am.
Oh, you uploaded that one?
Yeah, but I uploaded. Yeah.
Was that today or yesterday?
Today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we're in the car.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the indie movement. And by the way, it's not just like indie auditors. Like there's indie case supervisors and people that will train you on the L's and all that kind of stuff.
They were doing the L's?
The L's and OT5 and 6 and 7.
So wait, if there was L's, then there was like a class 12 or
there's some Canadian class 12. Well, Carindale Carrier's a class 12.
Oh, okay.
There was, I forget the name of the guy in Canada, who's was also a class. He had a French name. Does anyone happen to remember in the live chat? I know some of you guys know what we're talking about. Dogs unite against Scientology. Jenna, can I get the link to your tomato soup video? I cannot find it.
Oh,
was that the members only video?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's on my channel. I think it's called something like Comfort Food. I can't send you a link right now.
But it should be just on. Actually, give them an email address. They can email you.
Okay. You can email me at jenna@ex-scientologykids.com.
There you go.
And I'll send you a link.
There you go. Okay, so this is sort of a follow-up to one of the videos that you did. Okay, Aaron, Jenna did a live stream answering a question about what kind of mom she is. So what kind of dad are you?
Oh my God, I love this.
So I didn't watch your video.
That's okay.
So like, how did you describe what kind of mom you are?
Amazing.
No, what I mean is that how you described it, or was it in a
Oh, you
particular
know what?
context
The
of?
question was am I strict or am I easygoing? Or yeah, and then I think I just expounded on what kind of mom I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially when the kids were like younger, the grade school years, I feel like I was both the fun parent and the strict parent. Whereas Heather just got to be the nice, calm parent. Everything was always fine for the most part. And I was like the over the top fun one, but I was also the strict one. Like, I expect kids to listen when their parents tell them or ask them to do something.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't. But I know what you mean, because like if you're like, so like,
you even know how I'm in life. If I like say, can you pass me the spoon? And it takes like half a second. Like, can you pass me the spoon? Can you pass me this? Like, pass me the spoon. Pass me the spoon. Like, I just need that spoon.
Yeah, and I just ignore you when you do that.
That's not even a great example, but I'm an impatient person.
Yeah.
No, like, so first of all, I do feel that any aspects of Scientology or any weird way of thinking of kids or treating kids or expecting things of kids, in my opinion, was non-existent in how I thought of the kids or interacted with the kids or treated the kids or parented the kids. Like, I just wanted them to have as much fun as possible and be loved as much as possible and have as much freedom as possible, but also listen to your parents.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
We never did any like locationals or touch assists or contact assists or, assist processes like, you make that body lie down in that bed. Thank you. You make that body lie down in that bed. We never used words, or sometimes Heather would slip it in and I'd be like, please don't do that. Like, don't cut my comm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd be like, that's not a real phrase. Don't say it. The kids shouldn't even know what that meens.
Right.
I mean, she just couldn't help it. I mean,
of course. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, I just have the one thing I'm not insecure about is whether I was a really good dad when the kids were in their youngest formative, like, dad years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You love babies.
I love babies. I love little kids. I do feel like as they got older and past puberty that I just felt a little more insecure about making sure they never felt uncomfortable or like they didn't have their space. And I do sometimes obsess over, did I give them too much space? Did I seem too distant? Did I seem too whatever? But I'm sort of like, it was like, they're becoming grown-ups now. I don't want them to feel, I want them to have full autonomy, and I don't, so, but yeah, I mean, they just, our kids had, I mean, I think they would say it too. And as they got older, just had a really, really good childhood. I mean, it would have been nice if their mom and their dad seemed to, have a better relationship, meaning me and Heather. But like, as far as like being parented and the home experience, like,
yeah, they felt very loved
without question.
Yeah.
And by both of us. And that's actually why it was so important for me to stay, in the same household as a family unit for as long as possible, especially because by the time we started having those conversations of like, is this really working? They were still too young for me to be comfortable having them not have mom and dad together.
I see. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I don't know how you would describe it. Like, I do think I was a very good dad. I say was because I think they're practically grown up now. I mean, like you're always your daughter's dad.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I think of like when it said, what kind of dad were you? That's like when they're little kids and they're little munchkins and they're like mommy, daddy, and all that kind of stuff.
Whenever you talk about your kids, you always like start laughing and smiling, and it's really sweet.
Yeah,
like,
they are
really
hilarious. The one thing that is like, it's almost like I don't even know how it's possible. Like, they did not go through a difficult stage. We did not have like, they talk about the terrible twos. Like, nope. They just were never. And honestly, I feel like it's because of how they were parented. Like, they had a lot of love, and they also were very much expected to listen to what mom and dad were saying, especially dad.
Yeah. Like, I know what you mean, but like, so like I was always like, I would give my kids a lot of freedom, And so then when I was serious about something, they would
Yes.
take it seriously because they knew that I wasn't just doing it because I was controlling. I wasn't just telling them to do things because I was being controlling.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess I didn't use like, I didn't tell them what to do that often.
That's right. They weren't being micromanaged or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And, you know, it was that funny dynamic where they might be sitting there giving Heather a bunch of, you know, back talk about something. And I'll be like, what? I'd be like, okay, go do it.
That's so funny. Me and the kids would give Dallas back talk about everything. Poor Dallas.
Oh my goodness. And I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's like, I can't wait for my kids to have kids, but at the same time, I don't want my kids to have kids really young.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I don't know, how young is too young? I mean, so my girls are 18, 16, and 14. That's all too young.
Yes, definitely.
You know, like my daughter's already in her my oldest is already in her second year of college. Like, there's no point going to 4 years of college and then just having a kid. Like, what's the point? I don't know.
Right.
But if she wanted to, that'd be fine as well. But I just can't wait to have little munchkins. I can squeeze their little legs.
You always say that. Yeah. I can wait a little while longer. I need a little longer of a break before I have to.
Yeah.
deal
Well,
with
and your
little
kids are
ones
younger
again.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Why did we get into talking about that? Oh, because she asked what kind of dad were you?
Oh, yeah. Because the video I did.
Yeah.
I like that question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was fun.
Okay, Joshua Cox says, do you know if anyone is writing OT levels 9 to 15 for fun, like people who write Star Wars fan fiction?
No, there should be a competition, and then there should be, it's like writers of the future, whoever writes the best OT 9.
Hi, Marilyn. Marilyn's in the back. So there is a whole sector of the independent movement called the Ronzorg. The Ronzorg.
Oh my
Ronzorg.
God.
They have all the OT levels up to like 30.
So they just
he telepathically got them from Ron, which is what Dave should have done.
I feel like Dave is more like powerful and mean. He's not as much of like the bullshitter that like L. Ron Hubbard was.
He couldn't even come up with that much bullshit.
I think he could, but he would be like, no, like he's like that. That's what L. Ron Hubbard was for, to just like make up crazy shit out of nowhere.
Blame all the crazy shit on Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, blame all the beating people up on Dave.
OT 30?
No, I don't know if it's exactly 30, but it's more than 15.
Wow, that's amazing.
If someone can look up, if someone wants to put this in the live chat, how many OT levels does the Ronzorg claim to be up to by now? Because the Ronzorg was, I forget who's the guy. He used to be one of the captains of the Apollo.
Oh.
He worked with LRH, and then he left the Sea Org, he left Scientology, and he became like the ultimate squirrel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Captain Bill Robertson. It was Captain Bill.
Okay, I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's the head of the Ronzorg.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like, can also somebody join and then find out the information and just tell us what is on the fake OT 9, 10, and 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15? Because I've been wanting to know my whole life. And even though I know it's not exactly the same, it still would be nice to know what's on a version of it.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you that part of that box was specifically for you, the tulip bulbs. Did you see them? Did I show that part of the letter?
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of the bags of tulip bulbs is for you.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God. I'm totally gonna grow them.
Yeah.
At home. I have like a million garden boxes that are full of weeds. And I think I have to put them in the freezer in order for them to grow. But that is so sweet. Thank you.
Okay, Dave asks, of what you guys tried from the package, what did you like the most? Also Jenna, you like the tulip bulbs?
Yeah, I didn't know they were for me until just now.
One bag is for you, one bag is for Heather.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so of the stuff that we ate, I think we tried 3 things. There was this small square one that had, you called it marzipan? You called it marzipan in the middle?
Yeah.
And I called it tasted like gingerbread. It had the flavor of gingerbread.
Like gingerbread, like kind of cake on the outside, and inside it had marzipan. That was like kind of like a cake. To me, that was delicious. Okay, then of course there was the Stroop waffles. Right.
I've eaten the vast majority of those.
Yeah, yeah.
what was the? Oh, of course we ate the chocolate.
That was my favorite.
chocolate letter.
There's like a chocolate that kind of tastes like a Toblerone.
Yes.
Has like little pieces of toffee or something in it, and it tastes a little bit like molasses.
Yes.
That was my favorite. I love chocolate.
I think I like
So
so
much.
far the stroop waffles and the chocolate letter equally the best so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the chocolate
And
letter.
you know, I'm always trying to lose about 20 pounds. Jen is never a big eater, so it's going to take us a while to work through all of these goods.
That's funny because I eat all meals, but I actually am kind of a big eater.
What do you mean?
I feel like I eat more food than you.
I think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big
You're
eater.
hungry much more often than me.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Acute pumpkin clodhopper. I like this question.
Wow.
Since being out of the cult, have you worn perfume and scented shampoos and soaps? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I never liked that rule. I never really bought into it. Stimulates like implants or engrams or some. It was like stimulates implants or something.
I don't even know. I thought that it because it dulls all of your other senses or something.
And why are you supposed to have good senses?
I don't know.
If it dulls your senses, technically that makes you less prone to having engrams or stimulated.
That's true. Or it makes you more unconscious. So you could be more.
Makes you Anatin.
I guess so.
Such a bull.
But,
yeah. So anyway, I absolutely, the only thing I use the swagger with the body wash with, there's sandalwood.
Oh,
it's basically sandalwood scented.
Not
Love
swagger.
No, it's called swagger.
Oh, okay.
But it's sandalwood scent.
I see. That's a good scent.
And then I use my beard balm is scented. It's kind of like
yeah, that's
what's the scent? It's like
I don't know,
cigars and bourbon
tobacco?
And whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Like cowboy. And then I still use the unscented laundry soap.
Right. Yeah, me too.
Just because I don't like the smell of scented laundry soap.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they have different smells, but yeah.
Yeah.
I like in Scientology, if I ever had a scented shampoo, they would come into my room and throw it away.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like I only had $50 or less. And so they would just throw away my shampoo, which I had to buy with my own money. So now I use scented shampoo. I actually don't really wear perfume. I do have one perfume that my daughter got for me, and that kind of smells like, I don't know, like tropical something. It smells really good. My kids wear perfume. I don't wear perfume just because I don't like really, really strong perfume.
Yeah.
Like if it's like so,
but even like
headache.
Lotion,
yeah,
like body lotion has
with
a scent to it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally.
I think I use the exact same scent deodorant that I use body wash.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then I do have that, I guess you'd call it cologne, that I only spray if I'm actually like going out somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't like wear it all the time.
That smells really good. It has a really pretty bottle.
Yeah. And I don't know how you would describe that scent, but it's scent. Yeah, I'm not down with the no scent thing. I mean, scents don't really bother me.
No, but sometimes when somebody has really, really strong perfume, I like can't stop thinking about it and I get a headache.
Yeah.
But it's
that
only,
stimulation.
Yeah, but it's only if it's like really, really strong.
I like that question though.
Yeah.
Nana OF2. I must be saying this wrong. Nana of 2. Nana of 2. Jenna, your lipstick is so pretty. Who makes it and what color is it? I know people are like, really? Yes, really.
Yes, really. Thank you. I don't remember what color it is, but it's like a Lancome. That's my favorite makeup brand. They have so many, like I love their mascara. They have so many good colors, but I don't remember the color. If you email me, I'll look at it after this video and tell you.
Chris Styles, have you heard there have been Church of Scientology leaflets handed out at Linkin Park shows? Wow. God, I hope someone has some sort of a video or a photo of that happening. If so, I'll definitely do a video about it. But
that's crazy.
That is crazy. There was only a handful of the shows that they did. They did sort of a little world tour, but I think it was 8. It was only 8 shows.
Oh, okay.
So like, I can imagine if they went into Tokyo, I can imagine the people at the Tokyo or going out and handing them out. They seem gung-ho enough to do something like that. But like, I don't know. Do you think in LA they'd actually go out and hand out Scientology promo at a Linkin Park concert? I kind of feel like no.
Maybe Scientologists would.
No, but that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Like, would they really? Like, just because Emily's a Scientologist? Seems like not the crowd you're looking for.
I mean, I feel like they're shameless. They show up.
Yeah.
Like the volunteer ministers, they show up to
Yeah.
like hurricanes. So
Chris, shoot me an email, or if you mention it in the live chat, we'll try to catch it, of which cities have people seen that happening. That'd be interesting. Josh Cox, any update on Leah Remini's lawsuit? So the reason there's no updates on this lawsuit is because of where it stands. So Scientology basically filed an anti-SLAPP motion, which basically means Leah Remini's lawsuit is just preventing us from practicing our constitutionally protected activity. So that they sued her on, not sued, they filed a motion on anti-SLAPP grounds. They basically won half of their motion. And Scientology is appealing, and Leah Remini is appealing. So Scientology is appealing because they're like, we're upset that we only won half. We think we should win the whole thing. Now, if they win the whole thing, Leah Remini's screwed and owes Scientology legal fees. So Leah Remini's appealing because she's like, I'm upset that they even won half. They shouldn't have won anything. So that is all on appeal. At the same time, her legal team had to step down because of the conflict of interest that was created when she threatened to sue some of the Danny Masterson Jane Does, even though they shared attorneys. That was a big no-no. That created an unwaivable conflict. And so another attorney has stepped in to handle this current appeal process. I think there's a huge question mark on what happens during this appeal process that could last for at least a year. I would not be surprised to see this lawsuit dropped during this period. But we won't know until that happens. And the appeal process is going to take a long time. And that's where it's at. Yeah, some of these questions are a little too heavy, like handicapped children in Scientology. Nah. PJ Mac, I noticed you're both wearing black. Yeah, it's a popular color.
Yay.
Yeah, matchies. Twinsies. Marilyn says, stroop waffles sounds like a British insult. My UK moderators call each other. Oh, like a twat waffle. Yes, I love it. I love it. Abraham, losing 20 pounds, not when you're finishing up Jenna's plate. I said I'm always trying to lose 20 pounds. I'm not always succeeding. You cannot let food go to waste. Farrell says, Marilyn, I think you're confusing it with twat waffle. Yes. All right, guys. Well, this was a fun way to just hang out for a little bit on a Monday. It has been a long day of driving. I'll tell you, driving between Tampa and Miami on Monday, not quite as fast as driving on a Sunday. I mean, it was a good 5.5 hours in the car today. And need to stretch and shower and relax and get to bed. Anything else? All good? Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, good. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. It's